I first want to say it is with great shock and terrible pain that I heard the announcement of Mama Cecilia Ogwal's death. Completely unexpected. It is very, very painful and heartbreaking. Why? Because taking into account our nation and where it is and where it is going, I want to say very clearly before you mix me up that this is one person, I don't know how many of them will be, whom I can describe as a person who has walked our national anthem for God and my country. Mama Cecilia Ogwal, in all what she was doing, it was within our national anthem, working for God and for our country. And that's when I got her death. It shocked me and said, oh my God, who is going to be there? At these very trying moments where truth has invaded everybody, materialism has taken everybody's hearts, greed for power, whatever Mama Cecilia Ogwal got in her position of leadership, I would again describe it as she has led a Christ lifestyle of leadership. And so to me, although I have this terrible pain for missing her out, as my mother, my mentor, somebody to look to, if I want to love, if I want to do, look to Mama Cecilia Ogwal. And so, although I have this terrible pain in my heart for missing her, and mark you, having passed on quickly after the demise of Mama Joyce Mpanga. You can imagine me as a woman struggling for women, you know, like at the forefront of the whole issue of gender equality and women's empowerment. When I see my elders, the people on whose shoulders stood, going away, and yet the new people following us seem to have lost the direction. And so I say, God, save us. But one thing that makes me happy is that these women, my latest mom now going away, I can guarantee that she is resting in God's glory. Because for sure, I wonder really whether any genuine person in this country can bring a charge against Mama Cecilia Ogwal. This is a lady who was driven by the love for God and the love for the country. Me, look here. I met Mama Cecilia Ogwal when I was dire NRM and she was dire UPC. And let me tell you what was very interesting. When I was in Mbarara looking for votes for Constituent Assembly, the people were campaigning and saying, you people, you have to send Matembe to the Constituent Assembly because she's the one who can confront and face Cecilia Ogwal. Because they knew Cecilia Ogwal was a mighty warrior. You know, I don't know, this great woman of leader who is strong UPC. If you don't send there Miria Matembe to fight with her, we are going to lose out. And of course, she came to know that. And when I came here, I met her. And she said, so you have come to confront me? I said, yes. But can you imagine that in that CA, we became such friends? Because one thing you need to know, yes, people say as a woman activist, Cecilia Ogwal was not a woman activist. Cecilia Ogwal was a strong leader, a patriotic leader, loving God and loving her country. So me, I was a leader whose focus was on gender equality and women's empowerment. So when we reached that CA, we connected. To tell you, this lady was a wonderful lady. I was younger, very young, inexperienced in terms of politics. Yes, I was a lawyer, but she had worked. She was a graduate from Gayaza. She had worked. She had experience in politics. She had been in UPC for some time. Me, I had just gone in NRIM, and I was not so highly experienced. But when it came to the issues of women in the constitution, she used to come and say, okay, now Miria, tell me, what are we going to say on this one? And she would listen, and I tell her what she's going to say, and then she would go and defend that, and me and her defend it together. And yet she was UPC and I'm NRIM. Now, when it came to what was very interesting, when it came to UPC parties, you know, the Constituent Assembly, we had said, no, parties, there was a ban on parties, and we put a ban on political parties. So when Mama Cecilia Ogwal stood up to speak, to defend the removal of the ban, she said, but now you are putting our parties in the mortuary, they are dead, you are killing them, putting them in the mortuary, now when would they ever come? And people are very cheering her, those multi-party people. Me, when I stood up, I said, no, Mama, these parties are not going to the mortuary. We have sent them into ICU, intensive, that we are sending them into ICU so that they can be intensively cared for and treated, and then after some time, they will come alive. And you know, instead of her getting angry with me, she was there laughing, and I was also laughing. So from there, we bonded. She became like my mom. She was guiding me. And of course, when it comes to truth telling, speaking truth to power, I think Sister and I really, we had a lot of what do you call it? In common, a lot in common. But of course, one thing she's much, much better off than me is her ability to contain her emotions. I think that is maturity. The level of godly maturity and lifely maturity is surely above me. And now that she has gone, I have got to learn how to maintain my emotions when I'm provoked very seriously. Now, another thing I want to share that she taught me, and in the end I lost it out, when in the NRM, when we are creating women councils and youth councils. For me, I looked at the women councils as a vehicle to help me to mobilize the women and to get them educated, trained, and empowered. Because without those councils, how could I have reached those women? But because Cece had experience in politics, had read a lot, she knew socialism, capitalism, me, I didn't know those things, what has happened in Russia, China, all those things, I didn't know. She refused. She was opposing the bill to create women and youth councils. She told me, no, my daughter, these people, for you, you are very clear in your head, you want to use this thing as a good instrument, but for bad leaders, they want to use it, they have hidden agenda, they want to use it to capture, to mobilize women and youth and capture them in order to be able to manipulate them and exploit them. I said, no, Mama, we shall use them to mobilize them for their own good. And so we passed the law. Down the road, exactly what Mama Sisi had told me is what happened. Because really, women councils and even youth councils, do you see them? They captured them, they manipulate them, they exploit them to the extent they even sacrifice their own interests for the interests of those exploiters. So she was a very, very intelligent woman, very intelligent, very wise, very godly, and loving the nation. I am telling you, for her, it is not UPC that mattered, or FDC that would matter, or whatever. That's why you see her, she continued to flourish, even getting her elections and so on, and going there and talking for the nation. I can assure you, and I believe in this whole country in Uganda, every part of Uganda, I'm telling you, is mourning for Mama Cecilia Ogwal. She's mourning. She's a very unique person. I've seen people serve the nation. I've seen people pass on, but I can guarantee this was a very, very special person who will be missed by many. And in Parliament now, she's been, in fact, they should call her Mama Uganda. She's one who is a mother of this nation, really. She's been managing to do what? To guide those young people in Parliament, to counsel those women, even when they quarrel, even when they do what. And you know the kind of Parliament we have these days. Did you ever hear we women quarreling with fellow women? But here in this Parliament, she's been doing a great job reconciling them. And I'm sure even with President Museveni, she tells him the truth. She tells him the truth. She can't hide. She can't fear. She was fearless, truthful, and the most important thing I want to tell the public now, particularly the young women and even young leaders in this country who are women leaders, Mama Cecilia Ogwal has been able to succeed at public life in serving our nation. And at the same time, she succeeded in rearing a family. You know, some women think that when they are in politics, when they are ministers, when they are what, they abandon their families, they are just killing society. And yet, this is evidence that the most powerful woman who could speak truth power, who does not fear, who is vibrant, she could do all that and at the same time succeed at her family level. Let me tell you, when I saw that TV news that Sisi has gone, although I was paining, my heart straight away went to her husband. I said, poor man, what will he do? Because I've been seeing Sisi holding her husband, going to church, All Saints Church, helping him to go in the church, you know. So she's been very loving, very successful in all areas. And I am sure what made her do this is the fear of God in her. So you people listening to me, we talk of God, people think it is not serious. I can assure you, when you have the fear of God in your life, and you stand for the truth and for the godly principles, you are capable of succeeding. Now, the only regret, of course, which I have is, as far as we are concerned, she has gone too early. But well, God's ways are not our ways. God's thoughts are not our thoughts. And most importantly, on this earth, when God gives you a purpose and you serve it and accomplish it, he takes you. Jesus himself lived for 33 years and he accomplished the purpose and he left. So I want to believe that my Mama Cecilia Ogwal served dedicatedly his nation, served God, served her family, and now he has accomplished his purpose, her purpose, and she's gone. But we shall miss her so much. My only prayer that she may raise some other people, both men and women, who can love Uganda that much, love God that much, and serve God's people that much. May her rest in glory, because I'm sure she's already arrived there.